Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. Guess what? We're here in Houston, Texas. You know, this is supposed to be, above the subtropical region, of course. But for the second time this year, guess what's happening? We are having snow, sleet, rain, ice. And for a city like Houston, Texas, Kingwood, Texas, it shuts the whole thing down. But you know what? I'm having fun. I did some videos of doing this good old thing as well. But anyhow, folks, we're going to have a great show for you today. It started out interesting, right? Because in my newsfeed came this little video of this woman showing her delightment, her excitement for what Trump had to say. What Trump had to say about immigrants in those African countries and Haitian, El Salvador, and all these places, right? Oh, man, she was brilliant in her expose. And to get started with the program, I think what I probably should be doing is actually giving you guys a little look at what this woman had to say. But I tell you, please, Americans, I want you to call into the show today, right? I want you to call into the show, and please let me know if you feel that way, if you don't feel that way, what you think about it, and what you should do about it. Because this is the cancer. This is a cancer that is afflicting America right now. And let's just do it this way. I'm going to give you a chance to take a look at it and tell me what you think about it.
All right, peeps, I'm listening to the news, and I have to laugh. President Trump tweeted, why are all these people coming here from their shit countries? I freaking love it. I love this man. Oh my God, and you're going to tell me how many, we've all said it, we've all thought it, you say it among your family, your friends, and he just freaking comes right out and says it. I love this man. He is freaking awesome. He is great. And he's right. Why are they all coming here? They're not assimilating into our country. Why are they coming here? Stay in your little shithole countries. Stay there. We don't want you here. What are you bringing to this country? Nothing. Absolutely nothing you're bringing to this country. I love it. I just have to laugh. I'm sorry, guys. He is the freaking bomb. He is the best. Love this man. Look, he's saying what we all think, what we all say, and so on and so forth. It's just awesome. It's so refreshing to have a president like this. Just say what you got to say. What do you got to lose? Just say what you got to say. Because let me tell you, more than half of this country is all thinking the exact same thing.
Okay, folks, let me tell you something, okay? I should not have been shocked watching this overjoyed Trump supporter when her video appeared in my newsfeed. I must admit I was, though. Watching this seemingly middle-class white woman, not unlike many in my neighborhood, gave me pause. You see, as altruistic as I try to be, these incidents tend to trigger carnal cues. But we are evolving into a model where our minds should overtake our untamed state, our untamed being. And it must be our goal to help others into the truths that make that state a thing of the past. Unfortunately, there are just too many profiting from the ignorance, willful and otherwise, from the many. Willful and otherwise, ignorance from the many. Folks, do remember this is a call-in show. I hope to hear from you. Yesterday we finally got the phones working yesterday, and we got our first call yesterday of this new daily Politics Done Right. I hope to hear from more of you, and the telephone number, as you can see here, is 646-716-5812. 646-716-5812. Later on in the show, again, I'm going to show that video again because, as you know, with the way it works in Facebook, the way it works in Blog Talk Radio, people come and go. So I want some of those that are coming now to actually get a chance to see what is going on the show. But anyhow, folks, this woman became my inspiration for the blog of the week. But beforehand, what are your thoughts? Let's talk, folks. Let's talk. Tag your tweets with tag pound politics done right. Again, the tweet tag is politics done right. If you want to tag me and for us to see the tweets, also do remember to go ahead and follow Egberto Willies. Follow Egberto Willies on Twitter, EGBERTO WILLIES. One other thing, do remember to share all these shows. It is very important. Remember, a lot of things we cover here, you're not going to get in depth on your regular mainstream media. So what we try to do is we try to bring these other issues. Of course, going forward, we will have politicians from all over the country, progressives that is, that will come on and tell you what they expect to do going forward. But folks, remember again, call in show 646-716-5812. Again, that number is 646-716-5812. But folks, do you know what time it is?
It's time for the weekly blog post.
Well, it's time for that weekly blog post. Title of the blog post, Overjoyed Trump Supporter. He is saying what we all think. Really? I want you guys to call me up and tell me if this is what you really think, and if it's not what you really think, what is it that should be done about it? Anyway, the blog of the week goes as follows. I see these videos all of the times. You know, the Trump supporter justifying the unjustifiable. But this one got to me. Why? It infers that your friend next door, you know, the one that smiles at you every day, the one that you think likes you, harbor those feelings. Do they? Some of them may, some of them might not. Those of us immigrants with Trump supporter friends and friends who secretly believe only a select sect is entitled to this land of opportunity must be cognizant of this reality. Again, I repeat, those of us immigrants with Trump supporter friends and friends who secretly believe only a select sect is entitled to this land of opportunity must be cognizant of this reality. But I want to say something else. This is important because I'm talking about those as if it's immigrants who have to harbor those thoughts or those concerns. It's not only immigrants that have to harbor those concerns. Remember, here in Southwest Texas, Southwest United States and elsewhere, there are a lot of people that don't look like your traditional Americans, and those people infer that they themselves may also be immigrants. So when I say immigrants, I'm not talking about immigrants like me who came to this country legally and then naturalized and became an American citizen and became a productive American tax-paying citizen who paid a hell of a lot of taxes at that. But I'm talking about just the everyday American that doesn't look like the traditional American. Even those feelings are harbored against you. And what we want to know is how big of a problem that is. Anyhow, continuing. The apparently typical middle-class woman hears Trump refer to African countries, Haiti and El Salvador, as the ass or the shithole countries, and then expresses her love for Trump for saying what she says more than half of the Americans think. Many will say that they do not think like that. Many will say this type of commentary is expected of a Trump supporter. I think it is time for all Americans to see the light. You got to see the light. While many bask in the wins Democrats had in Virginia and Alabama, I think the Alabama race and Trump's electoral college win says much. I wrote about this in a blog post titled, I Refuse to Get Co-opted into Doug Jones' Euphoria, where I wrote the following. And this, like I said, this ties into a lot of what this woman had to say is what kind of regurgitated what I want to talk about here. And it goes as follows, what I wrote in the blog. America is a white country. Forget about the demographic information that many are feeding us about the browning of America by 2050 or whenever. If Democrats are to have a governing majority, the browning of America will not come fast enough. I tried to make that case in a piece I wrote several years ago. We've been talking about this for several years now. And I said the following, the title of the piece that I wrote was titled, white people, not Latinos, will be the real swing vote for the foreseeable future. That tries to bust the myth. And I pointed out the following. I said as follows. Democrats need to take this time and understand who the real swing voters are. White people will be the only swing voter in America for the foreseeable future. As such, it is in the best interest of Democrats that as Republicans start fighting for Latinos, likely the white ones, Democrats start fighting to bring more white men and women into their ranks. A party perceived to be the party of minorities is not viable. Many will balk at that statement, specifically black women who have been the one group that the Democratic Party can depend on for near 100%. 100% loyalty. The problem is one cannot escape the numbers game for a governing majority. Only a governing majority can create the systemic changes this country needs, from healthcare to a new economic system. And yes, I said it, a new economic system. The current economic system is not viable. It is going to implode on its own, under its own weight, and that's not a question. That is a mathematical fact. Until we transform America, where Americans finally realize that race is but a social construct designed to control the masses, we must be in the game accordingly. Democratic activists must use psychological tools and methods as indicated in the book, in books like Drew Weston's The Political Brain and Thomas Frank's Listen Liberal, to start re-expanding the party. The Republicans played a psychological number on us all with their continuous enactment of the Powell Manifesto. And I have a link to that for those who, the Powell Manifesto doesn't mean anything. And look, it's a must-read document for any progressive to understand the cancer that is the movement that is really decimating this country. If you want to understand how that came about, it's imperative. It's imperative that you read that particular document. The Powell Manifesto, may I repeat, the Powell Manifesto is essential reading for every single progressive. A must. The Republicans played a psychological number on us all with their continuous enactment of the Powell Manifesto. Unfortunately to date, Democrats have yet to respond appropriately. Let us get busy. I tell you why they haven't responded appropriately. Because there is a sect within the Democratic Party that these folks are as well neoliberals. And as neoliberals, there is not much difference between that sect and moderate Republican who are themselves the great, huge neoliberals. So over the next few months, we will be going over all these particular issues as well. Look, folks, the plutocracy ensures that a large percentage of Americans remain uneducated and ignorant to the realities of America and the world it serves. Why? It serves their purposes. How many Americans know that Nigerians are the most educated Americans? Bar none. In this country, if we want to separate Americans by education, which we shouldn't, I mean, we don't separate, but if you want to look at the realities of how this country is laid out, Nigerians are the most educated sect in this country. How many Americans know that most of the new innovation in this country, anytime you see new things occurring, how many people know it is immigrants that these things are coming from? I mean, that says nothing. I mean, we're not saying anything about the well, I am saying something negative of the population in general, and it goes this way. We have elected people who have indoctrinated the masses into being relatively ignorant. In other words, people are not inherently ignorant, but we have a society, a government now that are cutting schools, cutting everything else, and importing knowledge. They're importing educated people already, or they're important people who know what they want as far as education is concerned. And of course, then if you do something like that, you minimize the power of those native borns and those that are coming over already educated or with the desire for a particular type of education. Of course, those are the ones that are going to excel. So we have a political system right now that is destroying the nation from within. And it's not destroying those immigrants. I mean, the same immigrants that Trump's folks are fighting against are the immigrants that are coming over here with skills. They talk about non-skilled immigrants. Well, we need the non-skilled immigrants are picking your fruits and tending the gardens and making sure that you can afford to buy the vegetables that you have. And the skilled ones, I'm not only talking about the ones that are skilled from a professional standpoint as far as, let's say, science is concerned, but I'm talking about the ones that are building the homes and all that sort of stuff. They're skilled too, and they're bringing a skill that's not really pushed here in the United States. I can tell you one thing: the big floods that happened in Harvey, in Kingwood, Texas, are all around Texas right now. People are trying to fix their homes. They're building new homes and they're repairing homes or whatever. You go into most of these towns where all these reconstructions are taking place. All those immigrants that many of the Trump supporters and other quiet Americans are trying to throw out the door. Those are the people right now that are building these homes. A lot of these things are going slowly because there's not enough of that labor. And you know what? It's not here in America because a lot of these folks don't want to do that kind of work. They're not doing it. So let's get real, and we should get real. And what that woman had to say in the video should be a start. It's a good on-ramp to speak about the relative stupidity that exists in many Americans when they don't look at things as they should. Again, last sentence: how many Americans know that most recent innovation in America came about because of immigrants? While it is easy to deride Americans like the woman in the video, she likely represents a large cross-section of America. It's just that many won't articulate their feelings, their true feelings or beliefs. For those in the know, it is incumbent to engage everybody and set the record straight. The mainstream media and the plutocracy won't do it. In fact, they feed the ignorance directly or through false equivalences. Folks, the telephone number is 646-716-5812. Again, that number is 646-716-5812. We have a whole lot of listeners on Facebook. I would just love for some of you to go ahead and try giving us a call. I'm a nice guy and won't have any problems. People want to hear different points of view. So again, the one interesting thing is that this is a different number than we normally use because we have a new Blog Talk account that has a different telephone number. So this is a new number, and I have it right there plastered on the screen. So what are your thoughts? And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give you a chance to listen to what happened, what that woman had to say again for those newcomers. Here it is.
All right, peeps, I'm listening to the news and I have to laugh. President Trump tweeted, "Why are all these people coming here from their shit countries?" I freaking love it. I love this man. Oh my God, and you're going to tell me how many, we've all said it, we've all thought it, you say it among your family, your friends, and he just freaking comes right out and says it. I love this man. He is freaking awesome. He is great. And he's right. Why are they all coming here? They're not assimilating into our country. Why are they coming here? Stay in your little shithole countries. Stay there. We don't want you here. What are you bringing to this country? Nothing. Absolutely nothing you're bringing to this country. I love it. I just have to laugh. I'm sorry, guys. He is the freaking bomb. He is the best. Love this man. Look, he's saying what we all think, what we all say, and so on and so forth. It's just awesome. It's so refreshing to have a president like this. Just say what you got to say. What do you got to lose? Just say what you got to say. Because let me tell you, more than half of this country is all thinking the exact same thing.
Now, question to you guys that are listening. Whole bunch of you listening here. A whole bunch of you listening here. Please tell me, is that the truth? Is that how most of the country feels? Is that the truth? I guess it's time for me to, since I don't have the callers on, maybe I'll go ahead and see if some of you have been leaving those messages on the under the Facebook thing here. Let's see what some people have to say thus far. We can't fight hate with, let's see, we can't fight hate with, must find a way to heal ignorance, not attack it. Too often we book or we look at every ignorant person as a person to fight instead of a person to heal. I am not saying it's easy or even that I know how. I am saying healing is better approach than fighting. A good place to start is the Bible. Let us demonstrate and proclaim Christian love prayers. That came from Norman Bonk. Let me kind of make a comment there to Norman. Norman, thank you very much, first of all, for your comment. First of all, I agree with everything that you just said. I think when you mentioned the Bible and Christianity as well, I also believe that those are the tenets of the Bible and the tenets of Christianity. I am not a Christian; I'm a humanist, but I grew up a Christian, and those are all the things that I learned as well. Ironically, one of Trump's largest supporting base are evangelical Christians, and in doing so, and these evangelical Christians apparently have forgotten all the tenets they've learned within the Bible. They've forgotten that Jesus was love. They've forgotten that Jesus wanted to heal the sick. They forgot all these issues with Jesus altogether. So, Norman, thank you for what you had to say, and maybe, given that based on your comment, I think you are, in fact, a Christian. Maybe you should go in there and remind evangelical Christians what they should really be standing for. Because right now, what they've done to Christianity, evangelical Christians that is, what they've done to Christianity is already the religion has been on the decline. And what they've done, by going completely against the morals supposedly they support, by going completely against all the tenets that Jesus stood for, it's likely even worse than it was before. Okay, we have one now from Karen Joy Allman. I am a middle-aged white lady, and she is absolutely freaking wrong. No, no, no. This is not what all middle-aged white women think. This has nothing to do with age, race, or sex. This has to do with sick souls. Let's see what else here. Sometimes I guess I had to go ahead and click the more to see the rest. Let's see if I can see the rest. I can't see the rest, but I get your sentiment. I get your sentiment. I never wanted to imply that. Well, let me finish reading your comment. This has to do with sick souls who are incapable of love or compassion because they have never experienced it in an unconditional way. I feel compassion for her because people like this stew in their own negativity, and the only thing that makes them feel better is projecting it on to others. Very true. Very true. And not only that, but you know, I could understand a whole lot of how Trump machinations worked, let's say in Appalachia and these places where, because I do feel that there's a certain socioeconomic issue, or when you have people that are economically disadvantaged, when you have somebody on a white horse that comes in and tells you those other people out there, they are the ones that are causing your pain. And not only are they causing your pain, but they're taking something that rightfully belongs to you. That kind of a sentiment is easy to grab onto for the folks that are not very sophisticated, not very aware of what's going on. That is easy to accept. However, why that video touched me again is you look at where the woman lived based on, you know, the nice kitchen or nice whatever, wherever she is, and she looked like your typical middle-class white woman, etc. It is okay to say that. I understand you wanted to say it has nothing to do with race and all these particular issues. But I think when we take a look at what occurred in these different elections and how these people voted, we have to ask the question about tribalism overtaking intelligence and sanity. I would love somebody to write a little something about that on the post, or maybe give a call. I don't think you don't need to be. A lot of people are kind of scared to come on and make calls to these shows because they're just kind of shy or whatever. But if you try to give us a call, we'll get you on air. And again, you don't have to give your name or phone number or anything else if you want to make a comment and you don't want to write it down in there. But I'd love to see you do it either by phone or otherwise, because that is what we want with the show, an interactive show. For those newcomers, again, we have people that are coming and going all the time. What I want to do is, one more time, let's go ahead and talk about what this woman, or listen to what this woman had to say, and then we'll move on with some more on the subject.
All All right, peeps, I'm listening to the news and I have to laugh. President Trump tweeted, why are all these people coming here from the shit countries? I freaking love it. I love this man. Oh my God, and you're going to tell me how many, we've all said it, we've all thought it, you say it among your family, your friends, and he just freaking comes right out and says it. I love this man. He is freaking awesome. He is great. And he's right. Why are they all coming here? They're not assimilating into our country. Why are they coming here? Stay in your little shithole countries. Stay there. We don't want you here. What are you bringing to this country? Nothing. Absolutely nothing you're bringing to this country. I love it. I just have to laugh. I'm sorry, guys. He is the freaking bomb. He is the best. Love this man. Look, he's saying what we all think, what we all say, and so on and so forth. It's just awesome. It's so refreshing to have a president like this. Just say what you gotta say. What do you gotta lose? Just say what you gotta say. Because let me tell you, more than half of this country is all thinking the exact same thing.
She said it. Half of this country is thinking the same thing. Now, I don't believe half of the country is thinking the same thing, but I do think a lot of the country is thinking the same thing. So again, what do you think? Let's see. Rachel Port says, I posted a diary about race in 2008, and someone at Daily Kos commented about the kinds of things everyone says when they're in private. I replied that actually everyone doesn't. It was rather chilling, but I still maintain that most of us don't. That is something that I want to believe. I want to believe that that when people are in the privacy. Let me first say a lot of people of color always sit down and wonder, right? You get a lot of smiles from everybody when you're outside of home or whatever, but you wonder sometimes what people think, especially because when folks are very comfortable with you and everybody is in that comfort zone and the realities of they don't have to be as reserved with their thought process, usually a whole lot comes out. And that is what I find. I sit down in Starbucks for hours and work, and people come and go, and people would come in and speak to me, and I hear the darndest things because, I'm very people are very comfortable in talking to me, and they can tell me just about anything, and most of the time I'm reactionless. So, I don't give a whole lot of reaction. So again, it doesn't, people get a chance to keep their guards down, which is a good thing, right? Because again, I think if more of us were to sit back and let our guards completely down and let people know where we stand, we get a chance to modify where we stand or correct our true beliefs, right? A lot of what people find out a lot of times when we're talking is, wait, I didn't realize that you actually thought that. And then why is it that you were thinking that? Or how do you come about by thinking that? So, it is a good thing when you get a chance to get out there and let your guards down and start talking. Okay, Tamara says, no, we are not thinking the same thing. I'm glad to hear yet another person say we are not thinking the same thing. Folks, this is a call-in show, 646-716-5812. A lot of people online, but we want to hear from you by voice if you are so inclined. Betty Ann Director says, unless you are a Native American, you came here one way or another. This is what makes us great. Wow. Profound, smart. And that is, when I speak to folks, to my immigrants brethren, right? There are a lot of immigrants that sit back when these statements are made and stay quiet. And one of the things that I've been preaching for years, and that is what you have to do as an immigrant is to remind every American that you encounter that isn't of native origin, meaning Cherokee or whatever other tribe that was originally on this land. You never cede an inch in feeling that you are less than or less American than anybody else. I am a born Panamanian, of Panamanian parents, of West Indian grandparents. And there was never a time that I came to America and became a naturalized citizen that I didn't feel anything but a bona fide American working towards the dream like everybody else who came to this country. Like everybody else who came to this country, whether first generation or 10th generation. And in fact, what I try to remind many folks is those of us, those immigrants that came here later, we came here by choice. We chose the country. We chose where we wanted to go. And unlike what is said by many, most immigrants that come to this country come and produce above and beyond what's given to them. On a personal level, this country gave me freedom. I gave this country a ton of tax dollars. Okay, so the stereotype that the immigrants come across and do more for, or rather take more out of the country, is hogwash. That young man who comes over or young woman who comes over from Central America or Mexico or wherever, I mean, you owe them thank yous, because the reason we're an overweight country is that food from an average standpoint is so inexpensive because we can get labor so cheaply that it's foolhardy to believe that somehow these people are taking more than they're providing. I always tell folks in the community where I live, look at your lawns. Look at those people that are taking care of your homes, and make believe for one day that you could live without it, and see what it means. So I tell you, this immigration issue is a huge issue, and it's not only a huge issue, but it's one that we better start taking seriously, because if we allow the misinformation and the lies to allow policies to come into effect that ultimately hurts the immigrants in this country, the immigrants will go. Look, one thing about immigrants are resilient people, right? A lot of these folks had to leave where they came from. So, they know what pain is. They know what depression is. They know what hurt is. But let them leave this country and then through policy, in other words, let bad policy get affected by this child president that we have. If we allow these types of policies to become effective, it'll only hurt the people that most needed to have these guys here. Examples: food prices will go up. Who will that hurt the most? The Trump voter. Services, the prices of many services will go up. Who will that affect the most? The Trump voter. Anyway, Valerie Lepani D says, Democrats swing voters are youth. Come on, people. Gratefully, they think differently than most of us. Gratefully, they think differently than most of us, and that's a good thing. They are not afraid of universal basic income or immigration or gun control. Wow, Valerie, you are impressive. And why am I saying you're impressive? You understand the concepts. Universal basic income. Agreed. Every American should be entitled to a basic income so that nobody in the country is in poverty, homeless, or whatever. And likewise, we should have vast immigration. Immigration is one of the things that keeps the country going. They don't admit it, but it's one of the things that keep the country growing. And gun control. Do you know how many deaths there were in England and all these places because of guns? Almost non-existent. In America, we are like a killing fields. If you said that 30-something thousand people died every single year because of crashes, airline crashes, we would stop flying airplanes, or we'll make sure that it's fixed. That's the number that we have that gets killed with guns. And yet, crickets. Okay, Melanie Kenningoff says, refreshing? It's embarrassing. I do not think the way she claims. Sorry, lady. Don't lump me in your generalizing. And I have another one here that I can't get to, but I'll get to in a minute. So yes, it is interesting that is what many are thinking right now. It is interesting. That's her truth. So let's see, Shoshana Rock. That is her truth, not my truth. That is so true, folks. Anyhow, so again, for those people who are transitioning, one more time, here is the video for your commenting.
All right, peeps, I'm listening to the news and I have to laugh. President Trump tweeted, why are all these people coming here from these shit countries? I freaking love it. I love this man. Oh my God, and you're going to tell me how many, we've all said it, we've all thought it, you say it among your family, your friends, and he just freaking comes right out and says it. I love this man. He is freaking awesome. He is great. And he's right. Why are they all coming here? They're not assimilating into our country. Why are they coming here? Stay in your little shithole countries. Stay there. We don't want you here. What are you bringing to this country? Nothing. Absolutely nothing you're bringing to this country. I love it. I just have to laugh. I'm sorry, guys. He is the freaking bomb. He is the best. Love this man. Look, he's saying what we all think, what we all say, and so on and so forth. It's just awesome. It's so refreshing to have a president like this. Just say what you gotta say. What do you gotta lose? Just say what you gotta say. Because let me tell you, more than half of this country is all thinking the exact same thing.
Okay, we have a caller, 503. Who do I have the honor of speaking with? Area code 503.
Hi, my name is Mel.
How you doing, Mel?
Hi. I was just calling because I don't agree with that lady. Mm-hmm. And most people I know that are white people don't agree with that lady.
Are you white?
And, yeah.
Okay, just wanted to...
I am.
Yes, great. Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Well, and when Trump was first running for president, and I had people I knew were like, saw him on debates and were like, wow, what a breath of fresh air because he speaks honestly, speaks what everybody's thinking. And I was like, I'm not thinking that. And also, I think a lot of people who did vote for him aren't racist in that way that video is. And they think that they voted for one reason, like, oh, he won't take our guns, and so I'm a gun control voter. I don't want gun control. I'm going to vote for him because the Democrats want to take my guns. And then another person would vote for him because one-issue voters on abortion. And they just, believe everything they hear on Fox News that Democrats want to allow abortion up until the time the baby is born. And so they voted for Trump, seeing what he says and how awful he is, but they would look beyond all the evidence, and because of one issue, they voted for him anyway. And so even the 35% of Americans who voted for him, many of them are not on this woman's racist side.
Well, I'll have to tell you that I agree with you. I mean, first of all, what was your name again, ma'am?
What was what?
Your name.
Oh, my name is Mel.
Okay, Mel, let me tell you, first of all, I agree with you. That is one of the reasons that I do what I do. I get a whole lot of flack for trying to engage the Trump voter because many think that the Trump voters, they're just all a whole bunch of racist people and so forth. Now, what you did is you had a, what do you call, how do you say this? You had a nuanced view of the Trump voter, which I think we should all have a nuanced view of voters in general. And that is, look, I have relatives who voted for Trump, okay? It's bewildering to me, but I have relatives who voted for Trump as well. I don't sit back and I know these relatives. I mean, we grew up together, so I know that that they're not self-hating. They're not self-hating people per se or anything of that nature, but there are specific reasons. I mean, the evangelical Christians made a pact with Donald Trump to say, well, this is a guy who's going to carry our mantra. He's going to give us the kind of judge that we want. He's going to give us He's going to make sure that, as you mentioned earlier, the abortion thing doesn't take into control. And they were willing to forgive or not realize all the other negative things that come along with Donald Trump. The problem is in the process, in being the way they were, or the way they are, in being those single issue voters or dual issue voters. What they've done is they put a hurt on the country that doesn't only affect them, or rather don't only affect their particular issues, but many other issues that's going to put the country in dire straits. And that is a concern that I have. And one of the reasons that we do what we do is to try to, I hate to use the word educate because I don't want to come across as condescending, but to make people aware of there are better ways to look at these issues. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of the people that, some people did vote for him because he'd bring back jobs and stuff, and they really believed him. And I just feel sorry for them because he doesn't care. He doesn't care about people and their jobs. And he's obviously here to enrich himself and to enrich his other rich friends with the tax codes and all these things. And people are unwilling to see it that way. But I just keep trying to explain things to people I know that did vote for him. And it's like, if you don't stand up and say, no, we're not racist in this country. There are so many people who don't think like that woman. And if we don't stand up and say it's not like that, then people get the impression that they are, or that it's okay that he said that. Because I think also, if you look at the countries that he was talking about, people coming from that are war-torn or, messed up by the earthquakes or volcanoes or whatever they've had go wrong there. And obviously that's why some people want to come to America, is because the mess that's happening in their country. And so people go, well, he's right. That's why. And it's like, but you're not looking at the whole picture and all the contributions that America has had from immigrants and the blending. And where I live, my kids go to school with kids, like my son's high school has people from 40 different nations that attend it.
Wow.
So our school area is a very diverse situation. And my kids can't even understand the racism. When I talk about Martin Luther King and what it used to be like in America, and they're like, what? No way. Like, that's ridiculous. And where I grew up, it was a very white town. It's rural, and I didn't know any black people, so I didn't, think anything bad about them, but I was like, sure, I'm not racist, but I was never exposed to anybody. And so then when I grew up and moved away, and it's like, okay, I can just meet people and get to know them for who they are, and it doesn't matter where they or their parents came from. But a lot of people really have never met an African-American person or a Hispanic person, and then they just hear stuff on TV and believe it and think, oh, Mexicans come here and then they get benefits. Like, they imagine that illegal people would be able to get medical benefits or get welfare and stuff like that. And it's like, are you kidding me? There's no way they can apply for those, that kind of thing. But without knowing anyone, they just have this complete, I don't even know how to say it.
Well,
the
interesting thing about it is organizations like Breitbart and all the sub-organizations that feed into these different right-wing media and Fox News and so forth, they have a concerted effort in trying to tell white Americans that those are the things that happen, because what they need to do is they need a consolidated base, and that is how they build it. But so a lot of times what I tell a lot of folks, and I live in a very white area here in Kingwood, and when I'm engaging folks here, a lot of times I'll sit back and I'll say, hey, more so than myself, you have to be a part of the game. Because what happens is when Fox News is telling white America certain things, and you have, let's say, a radio host or an activist like myself out there doing a whole lot of this, we need the strength of, or we need the strength and the the engagement of enlightened white folk like yourself to be out there doing the same thing or exactly like what you're saying you're doing. And you appearing on a show like mine as well, talking your truth as a white person to other white people, believe it or not, has a strong, it has the potential for changing like no other. So I hope you continue to do things like this. Listen to these types of shows, call into these type of shows, share these types of shows. And I'm telling this to everybody who's listening right now as well. It is imperative that you share these programs because having, I'm sorry, I forgot your name again.
That's okay. It's Mel.
Mel, you're right. Having people like Mao come in and say the piece, believe it or not, plants the seeds in the heads of many people who are not going to immediately change or say, oh, I get the picture. But at least later on, when the time is right, that seed will begin to grow. Look, thank you so kindly for calling, Mao. Anything else you want to add before you go?
No, thank you.
Thank you for calling in. You have a
Bye-bye.
wonderful day. Okay, folks, again, the telephone number is 646-716-5812. Again, that number is 646-716-5812. Don't be scared to call. I'd love to hear your opinions. I'd love to hear what you have to say. We continue to have quite a few folks online, both on Blog Talk Radio and on Facebook Live here at our Coffee Party Network. So please do give us a call if you so kindly will. 646-716-5812. Let's go back to the Facebook boards and see what you guys are talking about. Let's see. Let's do a refresh here and see what you have to say. Anyhow, thank you, Ma, for calling in and giving us that message. Shoshana Rock Khan says that's her truth. Cheryl Casey Critchley, I think. If I said what I really think about her, she would likely think she would likely not think I was so great. And, oh, well, thank you, Richard. Richard said he's in total agreement with me. I imagine, well, that's good. It's good to know that somebody's in agreement with you. And Mary Elizabeth Supernaut says, let's see, Supernaut says, what a hateful woman. Glad I don't know her. Well, I hope you'd known her so you could actually help her. As a few people have said, some of these people really, what they really need is some help, right? They need us to give them a little help in being nicer, I guess. Folks, 646-716-5812. Again, that number is 646-716-5812. Our topic, again, this for those who are coming in again. I see the numbers are going up and down, which means we're getting a whole lot of new people in. So here we go with it one more time.
All right, peeps, I'm listening to the news and I have to laugh. President Trump tweeted, why are all these people coming here from their shit countries? I freaking love it. I love this man. Oh my God, and you're going to tell me how many, we've all said it, we've all thought it, you say it among your family, your friends, and he just freaking comes right out and says it. I love this man. He is freaking awesome. He is great. And he's right. Why are they all coming here? They're not assimilating into our country. Why are they coming here? Stay in your little shithole countries. Stay there. We don't want you here. What are you bringing to this country? Nothing. Absolutely nothing you're bringing to this country. I love it. I just have to laugh. I'm sorry, guys. He is the freaking bomb. He is the best. Love this man. Look, he's saying what we all think, what we all say, and so on and so forth. It's just awesome. It's so refreshing to have a president like this. Just say what you got to say. What do you got to lose? Just say what you got to say. Because let me tell you, more than half of this country is all thinking the exact same thing.
More than half of this country is thinking the exact same thing. And judging from the comments that I've been receiving on Facebook, judging from the comments from Mao, who called into the show, I leave the show with a much better feeling, knowing that there are a whole lot. Because remember, when you have your stuff showing up in the threads on Facebook, given the people that I follow on Facebook, which are not only left wingers but right wingers, anarchists, and just about everybody in the middle, I try to keep my. And let me give a little bit of Facebook advice to people. If you only want to see the kind of news that you want to see, you go ahead and only follow people who think like you, or you only accept friendships from people who think like you. Well, my goal is not only to preach to the choir, right? I love my liberals, I love my lefties, I love all my lefties I'm a lefty myself. We know how to do things. But if we want to make a change, we can't just concentrate on the lefties. We can't just talk to people who agree with us. I mean, that's easy. That doesn't take a whole lot of effort. We have to engage people who don't think like us. And to engage people who don't think like us, we have to try to create that space that allows folks to communicate with you without believing that they will be just simply judged, right? One of the ways that I create space, again, is when I'm in these places talking to folks that I know don't think like me, the first thing that I do is a hell of a lot of listening. Because once somebody sees that you're listening to them a hell of a lot, then most, not all, most will at least give you a listen. Others you have the right to say, look, listen to me. Okay, I have a call from 479. Come on in, 479. How are you doing today? Hello?
Hello.
How are you doing, ma'am? What's your name?
Yeah. Debbie.
Hi, Debbie. How are you doing today?
Good.
Okay, what would you like to add to the program, Debbie?
I'm sorry, do what?
What would you like to say?
I do not agree with that lady. I cannot stand that kind of rhetoric. I'm just really upset over everything that I'm hearing. And I'm a Christian, or I was. I don't even want to be associated with the name anymore. And I am a white person.
Okay, let me make a suggestion to you. I am not a Christian. I am a humanist. But you're a Christian. I hope you're not leaving your Christian religion because of what the evangelical Christians have done to the religion to corrupt it. I hope that's not why you're leaving, because I think America is better served if you as a Christian take over your own religion and ensure that folks like Trump and evangelical Christians do not take over and make it as evil as it has become. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm not throwing God away, but Christianity has become such a dirty word to me. I don't want associated with it at all.
I understand what you're saying. I hope you. I'm happy, first of all, that you said you haven't abandoned your core belief, which is what I think is important, right? You don't allow somebody like Trump or folks like evangelical Christians who are misleading America. You don't allow them to change who you are. So at least what you're telling me is that you're maintaining your own spirituality in whatever it is that you're doing. Correct?
Yeah. I've I come out of the evangelical world from years of it, and I'm seeing it in a totally different light,
right,
than I ever imagined.
Right.
And I live in Arkansas, and it's prevalent, right wing, and for Trump. I mean, I'm surrounded by Trump supporters,
right,
but that's okay.
Right.
I will not compromise what I believe to be good and true and right. And what I'm seeing it breaks my heart because it is so wrong. It is so wrong. I've had family members that I have seen, and I have almost become, I think, a bigot myself. It's like turntailed on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I even wonder, have I become one also, only in a different twist? I feel it has affected me to the point I am prejudiced toward them.
Let me just say one thing, Debbie, and that is, don't let, and I understand what you're saying, that it has gotten so bad that it has turned you so against them that you're feeling that same kind of bigotry, let's say, that you feel that they feel against those who are different. But let me tell you something, that is corrosive. So what I'm suggesting to you is the same model that I fall into, right? I don't let other people influence just like you said, I don't let other people influence my core beliefs, but also what I'm not going to let other people do is stop me from engaging those and trying to get them to change. If folks laugh at you sometimes, folks just think they sneer at you or whatever, but you know what? Just you calling into this show and other people hearing what you had to say, you've already made a huge difference. I can tell you that. You have made a huge difference. Okay?
I thank you for that. I thank you. And this show's good. It's really good. And you seem to be a very reasonable man. That inspires me because I need some of that.
Well, look, ma'am, let me tell you, thank you so kindly for calling. And I tell you what other things I'd love for all of those listening to the program, including yourself. Remember to share these programs. There are some of us that are pragmatic and some of us that really want to make change. It's not about blowing up the world or fighting against each other. Like if you read some of the blogs that I write, it's about engaging the Trump supporters. It's about engaging folks from all parts of the ideological spectrum. We work at coffeepartyusa.com to do that. We try to engage everybody, and one of the reasons we try to do that is because we can't govern this country with half the country disagreeing with the other half. We have to learn right now that if we are going to make substantive change in this country, we are going to have to come together somehow. And coming together means not necessarily coming together with people that you like right now, but it means coming together with people that eventually you just may be able to like when you realize that we're all pretty much the darn same. Thank you so kindly for calling, Debbie.
All right. Thank you so much.
You have a wonderful day now. All right, that was Debbie calling in. Folks, we are at the end of the show. We have a couple minutes more to go, so let me just get on to my evangelizing that I always do at the end of the show. Folks, look, these are difficult times. These are real times. These are times where we have powers that are trying to strangle us. There's something that I always say that I am going to repeat. And it goes as follows. I'm glad we had a call from Arkansas. I think we had a call. The other call was from the Northeast. I'm looking at the people that are in here. According to my demographics here, I have quite a bit of people from California, Texas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is great. What I want to tell you is this. The powers that be, our plutocracy's intent is to keep us separated. Okay, that's their intent. My favorite phrase is when we can unite the ghettos, Appalachia, and the barrios, and that's a stereotype, but it's a stereotype that has meaning. When those people all get together, nobody can really mess with the masses, and the plutocracy will then be taken to its knees, and that's the intent of programs like
60 seconds
to ensure that the masses are the ones with the power in this country and not just a few people. Folks, my name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. Please visit the blog site, egbertowillies.com and politicsdoneright.com. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so kindly for listening. Share, share, share.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.